Hey, welcome everyone back to Barrels for Hope live stream. I hope you guys are super excited about tonight. I know I am because everybody should have their bottles for our first pick, which actually ended up 2 barrels, the Founders pick and the short barrel, Elijah Craig. So super excited about these. I've actually got some of the samples taken from the barrel when we were on the pick, and then of course the bottles. But hold on, we are going to be tasting those together at the end of this live stream. We want to know your guys' thoughts in the comments and how you thought we did with this pick. But we've got a lineup of information for you tonight. We've got a drawing to do and a couple announcements, which is pretty cool. So first off, we want to start off with a little bit of administrative notes to keep everyone up to date on what is going on. First off, our 501c3 status. So I checked with the IRS again. When we initially filed way back in the spring, we filed, and this is going to get a little nerdy and technical, but bear with me for a second. We filed the short form application for public charity. That was turned back to us because we projected more in revenue raising for charity than $50,000, which is great for what we were doing. But that meant we had to go back to the drawing boards and we had to submit the long form for the charity. The short form, they're on like a 2-3 month turnaround. The long form, they're currently reviewing applications right now from November 22. So they haven't even gotten to 2023 applications yet, and ours was submitted in April of 23. So we've got a few more months to wait before ours is even being reviewed, but I wanted to make sure everybody had an update on what was going on with that. The other kind of administrative update we wanted to go over real quick, if we can shoot over to Reggie, if you want to just kind of give everybody a nice warm and fuzzy about keeping us in check and where we're doing and our budget and where we're projecting our cash flow for our end of year event and cutting money for our charities.
Sure. I actually updated the cash flow projections after we paid for the Elijah Craig picks, all the shipping, and collected the funds from the sale of the extra bottles. That left us at roughly $37,000 in our operating account, and projecting out, where the remaining picks that we are looking at getting this year. We're in a position to meet our goal of the $40,000 for charity, and still have a little bit of money left over to make sure we cover everything that we need to do for the organization, and put a little bit aside for the next picks that we do.
Awesome. Thank you for that. And we've got a couple more important announcements, updates to make as we go through. So if you guys have questions, please put those in the comments. We're going to star those and get to those at the end as we're getting to our tasting and doing that. We want to make sure the information gets out to you guys. So next order of business is our drawings for our next pick. So our next pick that we need to do a drawing for is still Austin Cask Strength. I'm super excited about this. I know there's some people that are kind of iffy because it is from Texas, but man, I'm telling you, if you guys have not had any of the Still Austin Cask Strength stuff, you are in for a treat because it is phenomenal. And it is the most, I guess, Kentucky-like Texas whiskey that I've ever had. And you can listen to multiple other channels and they'll tell you the same thing. So we wanted to do this pick in person. Unfortunately, it did not work with the distributor. So we have samples. It is going to be another virtual pick. But we will be selecting people to do that virtual pick with us. So, Lance, do you have that ready to go to do the Still Austin pick?
Yeah, guys, I've got it, and I can confirm everything Joe says. I'm not a huge fan of Texas whiskey, but Still Austin is amazing. I think you guys are going to love it. It looked like from the poll we ran in Patreon, a lot of you guys were actually kind of excited. We were doing this one virtually so that you had a chance to be in on the pick. So they sent 200 milliliter samples, and some of those leaked. So We're gonna draw for 4 people tonight, and I'm gonna do my best to be able to get 4 of you samples. It might be 3, but we'll draw 4 tonight. I need to get those in the mail to you guys tomorrow, Saturday at the latest. Whoever wins, whoever's helping us with the pick, and it'll be Reggie and I on the pick with you guys. But I need to get those out tomorrow or Saturday. So when I message you, if you could, well, actually, I don't need to message you. I've got your address on Patreon. That was dumb. I will just send them to the address you've got on Patreon. I'll message you just in case someone's sending something to a state that we don't deliver to. That way you'll get your samples, but we'll figure it out. But just if you get a message from me, respond quickly. All right, let's see. So there were like 30 or so people that were interested in this. So yeah, let me share my screen here. All right. Can you guys see that?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Here we go. Top 4 I'll be contacting. Ed Sturgar, Peter Braddock, Gary Botchman, Big Vic, and then we've got some alternates down there. So
awesome. Congratulations, guys.
Yeah, should be a lot of fun. Should be a lot of fun. All right.
Okay. So like Lance said, if you are on those top 4, make sure you're paying attention to your messages, respond back to him as soon as possible. Because if he can't confirm that with you right away, we're going to move to the next person. Because like I said, we have to send those out, Saturday by the latest to make sure this pick will happen. As for the pick, I think did you put it in the announcement, Lance, last night when we're doing the pick?
Yeah, it's going to be next Thursday. I think that's August 3rd at 7:30 Central Standard Time. It'll be live on here like our 4-gate.
Yep. Awesome. Perfect.
And if you want to help Lance, go ahead and if you're on here now watching and you did get selected, message Lance and just confirm the address that you need to send it to.
Yeah, good idea. Just send it to Lance at barrelsforhope.com. I notice a lot of you guys are sending me private messages on Discord. And I have a hard time keeping up with those. So if you really need something from me, it's just best to email me.
Right. Perfect. Okay. Awesome. Well, again, congratulations. I'm super excited for the Still Austin pick. I hope you guys are too. Next order of business, we're going to talk about the allocated bottles we've been doing. So as of right now, there are no allocated bottles for this month. We are not doing a drawing. Okay, we're going to get into that a little bit. The bottles from last month that have been paid for, don't worry. I know it's taking a little bit of time. We are getting those to you. You will receive those. The priority was getting the Founders Pick and the Short Barrel out first. Then we had to get some more shipping material, get that to Narav so that the guys could go over to A1 and pack them up. But they are coming. So the bottles that were picked last month and paid for, you are getting those. Don't worry, they will arrive. Hopefully now most everybody has these bottles, so you know that you are going to get the bottles. We do not have a drawing this month, and we are, at least for now, temporarily suspending the monthly drawing for allocated bottles. It was thought of at first to be kind of a perk, not the primary purpose of this organization. The primary purpose was the barrel picks and raising money for charity. This was kind of a perk. It is, after we've gotten a few months into it, it is turning out to be logistically a nightmare for everybody involved, from getting you guys to pick the bottles, to send in the payment, to us getting the shipping material, to A1, getting people at A1, box them up, and it's just detracting from the overall mission. So what we're going to be pivoting to, and we've got to be able to be flexible, right? Like, very few organizations are doing anything like we're doing, and none of them are doing with charity focus. So that we're charting new territory here, and we have to be able to be flexible and pivot. So what we're going to pivot to is a system where Narav will set aside about 3 bottles a month for us. He'll let them know what they are. We're going to write them on a list. These are going to be nicer, because it's a small amount, kind of, let's say, nicer allocated bottles than some of the normal allocated ones that we've been getting. Those will be picked up, that will be stored by us, and then we will have those at our annual event to be able to, like, a raffle or a silent auction for, and then again raise more money for charity. So we're doing a little bit of pivot. We ask you to bear with us. And with that being said, now that I've given the bad news, we're going to have Josh, our VP, swoop in and be the good cop and kind of give you guys some fun.
Well, I mean, Joe really led into it right there, but it's so much of the mission of the organization when this thing was conceived was to enjoy good whiskey with good people while raising money for charity. And that while raising money for charity piece of the puzzle is missing in these allocated bottles, not to mention just the incredible logistics nightmare it is, but there is no money for charity. And I was actually thinking about this today. It's actually costing us some money because we're having to pay for packaging supplies to send these things out. So with Nirav and us brainstorming this idea, and this all happens because of Nirav, you know, he makes these barrel picks possible. He makes allocated bottles possible for us to work with. And he had the idea of having just 3 bottles a month, more focus, going to raise money for charity through raffles and silent auctions at our year-end event. And what that's going to facilitate, I mean, some of the bottles we're talking about, even if someone got them for just what they would typically go for, like, this is going to raise so much more money for charity at the year-end event. So it actually, while it can seem a little bit like like Joe said, a pivot, and maybe somebody might feel some kind of way about it, I think the beautiful thing is it really pushes towards the focus and the mission. And when I initially heard this, I was like, I don't know. And then we talked about it, and I was like, man, this is literally the thing that has not felt exactly right about the allocated bottles, and spinning it into a positive for the mission of the organization. So, you know, we hope you guys can get on with this. If you are someone who is unable to access allocated bottles in your specific local market, then I would definitely encourage you, either, you know, it doesn't have to be me. It could be through, you know, Joe and Mommy Valley Whiskey Society, or Lance or Dan, or Aaron and I. Like, we all have ways to facilitate that through our own Patreon communities. Friends helping friends, as it were, sourcing bottles and things like that. We want to keep that peer-to-peer kind of separate and apart from the charity organization aspect for some pretty obvious reasons, if you guys get my drift there. But, you know, if you want access and you don't have it locally, reach out to us. We can get you connected on that regard. But yeah, I can't be more excited about the money that this is going to let us raise for charity. It just puts us that much further beyond our goals. So I'm over the moon to be able to talk about it.
Right. This kind of wraps up everything we're doing now. Every aspect of our organization is now helping to support our charities. Our barrel picks, main portion of supporting our charities. Our merch that we have some exciting news announcements for coming up is now supporting our charities and raising money for our charities. The allocated bottles, which Nirav is still graciously providing us. He does not have to do that. He is a for-profit business. And out of the generosity of his heart and the love for the organization and what we're doing, he's providing that. We're going to have access to those bottles at our annual event, which is going to make that an even bigger event. That's going to be awesome. But now that's raising money for charity. So I got to say, we have to be ready to pivot. We have to, when we're basically blazing new trails, right? Doing something nobody's ever done. But I'm really feeling good about where we're going with this. So again, if you guys have questions about that, I see some positive comments in the chat. That's awesome. I appreciate that. But if you do have questions, put them in the chat. We'll star them and we'll address them at the end. So, but with that being said, all of the parts of our organization now are supporting our charity, and Josh's warm and fuzzies. I want to turn it over to him and Kim to give us some more good news.
Yeah. So speaking of things I'm really excited about, in addition to this, was the merch that Kim and I have been working on. And I've been talking for a minute here. I don't want to necessarily put Kim on the spot, but I may just put Kim on the spot here to let her talk some about what we've been working on behind the scenes with all the merch. And I think Lance can maybe even share a tab if we can figure out how to do it. I'm not the slickest. Oh, look, he's on it. Well, here we go.
On it.
So Kim, do you want to go ahead and tell the people
Sure.
about what we've been working on?
Yep, happy to. So excited about this. Our shop is live. And so you can go out for barrelsforhope.com and you can get to the store directly here. We have hoodies and sweatshirts and any kind of t-shirt I think you could want. I am wearing the Tribeland Athletic t-shirt again tonight. This is my favorite. It is so soft. I love it. We have stainless steel glasses, which are great. We have CamelBaks, which is if you work out, this is awesome to work out in because it won't break, it won't spill, and you don't have to remove a cap. We have whiskey journals, which are fantastic. I did all of my 4-gate notes in here last week during the live stream when we did the pick. We have hats. So I am wearing my Barbie pink patch hat tonight, but there are multiple colors out there. We have whiskey glasses, coffee mugs. I am just so excited about all of the stuff that we're able to bring you all. It's great. It's high quality. Whitney, Bill's daughter, did a great job putting this site together. And Josh and I have gone through lots of these items to make sure there's something that we would want to buy. So hopefully you'll want to buy them as well.
Absolutely. And I've got the whiskey glass right here, which is a really interesting glass, actually. If you can see this, I think it's a 6-ounce glass. It's got the, colors for the stuff. And this is for instance, to compare it to a Glencairn there, it's wider at the top. So you can actually, if you're a person that likes to put ice and stuff, you can fit a piece of ice in here or a chunk of ice in here if you want to chisel it out. But you can still get a great nose out of this. It's got some heft to just kind of hold on to. So, yeah. And Michael, we see you there, man. Thank you for letting us know. Shipping is included with everything. That's part of the price. So that's just, something we all kind of like, the model of shipping included. But we will check into that to make sure we get that ironed out. So Whitney's in the chat. Yes, I was hoping she was watching. She says shipping was just fixed. Thanks for letting me know. So awesome. But yeah, so if you guys have any merch questions, I know if you look at the product page, it's got my email address on there. You can reach out to me. I think we do have a female contingent for sure, and I will forward you to Kim if necessary. We do have a predominantly male organization here. So I think I have one of almost every single apparel product that we are offering because I wanted to make sure all the sizing was right for everything that we're offering. And that stuff should be in the listings. But yeah, we could not be more excited about this. Yeah, you'll see if you go in, there are notes about, we can put size charts and stuff, but how stuff fits you. And so I wanted to say, I don't want you to have to bust out a tape measure. If it fits like a large or an extra large fits, we tell you. If it fits too small and you need to order a size up or 2 sizes up, if you want it really roomy, we tell you that stuff. So it's all in the listings, and that's part of the legwork we did in advance to make sure that, when you spend money on this stuff, you're getting exactly what you're looking for.
Yep. Awesome.
And women's sizing is weird everywhere. So if anyone has a question about it, feel free to reach out to me directly as well, Kim@barrelsforhope.com. Yeah.
And don't be afraid to, again, share our website with your friends or post it on your social media. This merch is not just for us. So the more people we can get this merch in the hands of, the more it raises awareness about our organization and the more money it raises for charity. And that's good for everybody. So
yeah. And on that note, Joe, if you guys are on social media, feel free to take pictures of these Barrels for Hope stickers and post them all over your social media, because the more awareness we have for this, the more money we can raise for charity. So
yeah,
absolutely.
Awesome.
And I will say, you'll see for almost every apparel item, you'll see two listings, and what you're seeing there is you're seeing one like this shirt with the banner logo, and it's blank on the back. So for you minimalists, more like me, you got this look, but then if you want to go with the large logo on the front, you've got that on the front, and then you've got the big Barrels for Hope on the back. So that's something to be on the lookout for when you go looking at items on the shop. Figure out which logo you want in the product listing.
Awesome. All right. So if you have questions about
Cheers,
anything
Joel.
we've gone over, cheers. Thank you, guys, for all your hard work on that. If you have questions about the merch, if you got questions about the allocated bottles, the barrel picks, any of that, put them in chat. We're going to go back. I think Lance, I saw him kind of starring some things. And we're going to go through and answer some questions and taste through our first pick, guys. I mean, we actually got them. They're here. It's done. It worked. Lance and his crew over there did an amazing job. I think Lance, 6 hours you guys were there packing boxes and taping and shipping labels and
Yeah, we were there 6 hours, and thanks to all the guys that came out and helped, because I mean, we could not have done it without you guys. I didn't realize how much we needed your help, and I'm so glad people showed up, because Renee and I would still be there taping boxes. We used about 30 rolls of tape that we had to keep going back to the store and getting tape, and it was a fun time. We had a good time, but thank you guys so much for the hard work. And if you haven't, if you're somebody that hasn't got a bottle yet, if you could wait until Friday, and if you don't get it Friday, then email me at Lance at barrelsforhope.com, and then I will go double check, because as Josh can attest to, those UPS guys come in and see, over 300 boxes sitting there, and they want to kill us. And so they made a couple trips, and they spread it out. And I don't think we realized they were going to do that at first. I thought they were going to get them all at once, but they came over several days. And then one of the days they canceled on us, so it went an extra day. So that's the holdup. But I think everybody should have them by Friday. As far as I know, on Monday, all of them were picked up. So if you didn't get it by Friday, message me. But thanks to everybody that helped. We could not have done that without you, and we're going to need your help on the future picks.
Yeah. So we're going to try and refine that process as it goes, because we have, obviously, 5 more barrel picks to ship out. But in the meantime, as we're going to scroll through here and answer your questions, hopefully if you do have yours, raise a glass. Cheers to everybody. I hope you enjoy them. We did our best to pick you some good barrels. And I've got side by side the samples from the pick and the bottles. So I'm going to be seeing how they compare here. It's been a little bit of a debate last couple of days, especially with the short barrel.
Well, one of the funny things is, and I didn't realize this until I started doing barrel picks myself, but there's a balancing act between picking the barrel, and then there's a time lapse, a period of time that lapses from when you pick it and when they bottle it. And what it does in that interim is that it sits in the barrel and can change a little, sometimes a lot. And I think the Founder's pick is every bit of what we wanted it to be. I think the short barrel actually got better in the barrel as it sat waiting to be bottled. So I'm
going to be the judge of that.
Extremely happy. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'll tell you guys, we can't, I'll tell you guys, we can tell you that there was a distillery on a pick before us, and 2 of the owners fought heavily over the barrel we picked. And one of them was pretty mad they didn't get that barrel. We can't tell you what distillery, but.
Okay. So let's see. Fifth Quarter Tailgate says, remind me, does the 501c3 backdate to the original data application? Yes, it does. Once approved, they'll go back and it'll be approved as of your filing date. So yes, that is accurate.
Hey, Joe, we got a couple of the guys that helped us pick in the green room. Do you want me to bring them on, or do you want to wait a little bit? Yeah?
Bring them on.
It's time.
We're going to go through here. Yeah.
Let me bring this guy on first, because he's my uncle and he's in charge of, he did the logo. So if you like the logo, you can thank this guy. Let's see. Uh-oh.
Well,
Is it coming?
I love
Oh, no.
Will.
He got scared. He left the room.
I love Will.
Come back, John.
Yeah, he'll come back. We'll bring William on because he's been in. We'll bring William on first. What's
Hi.
up, buddy?
Will.
Will, what's up, man?
Cheers. Just enjoying the founder's pick that I have. I'm waiting ever so impatiently for the short barrel.
No.
So,
Did it turn?
Josh,
Did
you
it,
had mentioned the short barrel for you guys was a little drying on the finish. It had that sweet oak, and then it was a little drying. I'm picking that up a little bit on the sample, so I'm gonna go to the bottle.
Yeah, it was definitely drying on the sample when we picked it. But it's funny how the bottle compares.
Yeah. So Mike says Still is good. Yeah, I made him try it when we were out on a pick because he said he hated Texas whiskey, and he goes, yeah, okay. I guess I was wrong. Not all Texas whiskey's bad.
all right.
So
I'm gonna bring. Wait, sorry.
Oh,
Go ahead, Josh.
No, go ahead. I was gonna Bourbon Whiskey Uncensored ask, how was it on the initial message about the short barrel that there was enough short barrel for everyone who wanted? Then when the drawing, so there was enough. Drawing was run. There was 40 plus more people on the randomizer. I don't understand the question.
No, I think there was a miscommunication. I believe we had enough of the founder's pick for extra bottles that everyone. Was that what it was, Lance? One of the barrels, we had enough extra bottles to cover the people who wanted it. Was that the founders?
That was the founders. Yeah. There were still, we had several $5 tier members that didn't vote to be included in either pick. But everyone else that wanted a founder's pick got a founder's pick. There wasn't enough short barrels because we only had, I think, 109. Is that right?
Yeah.
I think 109, and of course we have 160 some Patreon members. So,
well,
and we kept some back.
And remember, out of each pick, we're holding back, 12 bottles, 2 cases for broken bottles that we'd have to reship, and for the annual event. So that takes 12 bottles away. So that's something to always keep in mind.
Still, it beats the what was the estimation with the Thief 67?
Oh, we were shocked
Yeah.
that there was going to be over 60 bottles.
We checked these barrel numbers multiple times, you guys. We're like, there's no way in the world I could take my pinky and lift that barrel by the lip. That felt like so little in there, and it was incredibly oaky. It was tannic. Now that it's been chilling in the barrel for a little longer and it's been bottled and everything, that tannicness has tapered off, and it's
A little bit.
just a nice oak bomb.
I don't think it's as different as maybe you guys thought. At least to me, the bottle and the sample don't taste that. There is some slight difference, but it's not different enough where I would question it. At least for me. Now I want to know in the comments. So I've said since the beginning that this, to me, I know this barrel is only 10 years old. Okay, I get it. It's a 10-year-old. But to me, this tastes like a sweeter version of Elijah Craig 18. Is
Barrel proof.
Yeah, barrel proof. Yeah.
So I'd like to know what everybody else thinks. So Mike said he was thinking next year we should concentrate more on-site barrel picks. He had so much fun at Makers. Somebody else said, yeah, I agree with that. Then somebody said, it's nice to have a mix. Fifth Quarter Tailgate said it's nice to have a mix of virtual for those who can't always get away to them. And we're sort of on both of those this year. So we're going to end up with 4 in-person picks and 2 virtual. So, the vast majority of our picks are in person. We still have Middle West coming up in August. That is an in-person pick. So we're going to end up with 4 in-person, 2 virtual. And I think that's a pretty good mix. What do you guys think?
I love it personally.
Yeah, and full transparency, I mean, we talked about this when we did the 4-gate live stream for that pick. We only had enough we didn't even have enough, and Reggie sat out, so that we had enough for the other board members to do that pick, and they needed an answer quick. Also, still Austin and primarily the distributor needs an answer very quick, because when we do these virtual picks, those barrels are out of the rotation to be selected until we make a decision on them. So they typically want answers fast. If we have the option of doing a pick somewhere that has a virtual pick program that we can schedule, and then we can plan an event to where we all get together in Bardstown or something like that, do some Bourbon Trail related events, hang out together, make it a grand old time, and do the pick together virtually, live stream it, but be in the same space. That's something that we want to do if we can do it. And then if you can't make it, but you're drawn, you can still tune in and be part of the live stream as well. But that's something that's on our radar. So, you know, it's not just virtual or just on site. We're working on a little bit of a hybrid model when that opportunity presents itself as well.
Yeah. The other thing to keep in mind is we really don't have the choice, right? It's up to the distillery whether they're going to host you for a pick. So we can say, all right, next year we're doing all in-person picks, and then the distilleries are like, yep, nope, sorry, you're not. Here's your samples. So we don't own their businesses, so we can't control that. But I like having the mix. A 4-to-2 ratio is, I think, kind of good.
Yeah, I think it's a great ratio. Let me bring Eric in real quick too, because he helped us on this pick and he's in the green room. What's up, Eric?
Hey, Eric.
Hey, cheers, guys.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers, man. Good to see you.
Did it turn out as good as you thought?
Probably even a little bit better. Yeah, I'm real happy with it.
That's good.
Man, so shout out to Adam. Nimrax in the chat says the founder's pick's giving him sugar-dusted oatmeal raisin cookie vibes. And the power suggestion is strong with this one, speaking to his avatar there. But 100% agree, man. I smelled it, and reading your statement,
yeah,
absolutely.
So the raisins are interesting. The one thing I think, and Eric and Will chime in on this too, I think when we were there doing the pick, we had thought, look, never have we ever gotten this amount of dark fruit flavors on an ECBP before. I mean, it was so much more.
No, it was one of those when I had it and we went through, and I totally didn't follow the instructions because I didn't listen. I was on the other side of the room. I had a quick sample through everything, and then I went back and revisited each of them. But when we sat down and we all voted, and I think, Joe, you did the elimination, and well, we all had eliminated the same selections.
Right.
It's like, okay, well, we've gotten down to an A-B, and there was no further decision required. We were all on B.
It was unanimous, I believe, wasn't it?
It was unanimous. Yeah, we were all gushing over it. And then, Joe, if you actually, so that's the backstory to it. If you watch the video, if you just, after this live stream, if you go to the Barrels for Hope channel, go to the posted videos, you'll see the Elijah Craig one. And Joe was reading the room, as a good president should, and he could tell we were all gushing over that one barrel. And then he's like, look, I don't want to beat around the bush, guys. I actually went back and watched this video. It starts with this. Joe is like, I don't want to beat around the bush. Which barrel does everybody want? We're all like, this one. And it was, right? It was a unanimous moment.
It was our first pick together as a group, right? And normally, like from my previous experiences, it's very methodical, right? Because you want to make sure you're selecting the right barrel, not only for yourself, but your whole group. And so there's a lot of discussion back and forth. You don't want to pick, you want the best one. But there wasn't even, it was like, I don't even know why we're talking about it, because everybody's in love with it.
Yeah. And then knowing who fought over that barrel before us just made me go, yeah, we know what we're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we got that information after we picked it. We're like, this is the one. And she goes, yeah, I kind of thought that might be the case, because we just had so-and-so and so-and-so in here, and one of them really wanted it badly.
Eric, what was your first impressions of this one when you tried it?
So when we first tried it at the distillery, like you said, a lot of red fruit. I was getting like a lot of cherry on it initially. I think it's a little bit more like subtle now. as it, I guess, sat in the bottle a little bit longer. I still get that, but not as maybe fruit forward. But this, I mean, this is a really well balanced pour. Like, one of the things that I can say about it is there's nothing that's off putting whatsoever. So like, you can't go through it and say, oh, it's really good, but then I get to this note and I just don't like that too much. Like, I think it's just drinks really nice.
Yeah, it does. I said this on the pick, and I still think it reminds me of my favorite Henry McKenna 10 barrels with that sweet oak, dark cherry, but at barrel proof, and just a fantastic mouthfeel. And I love the finish on it. It just sticks around. It's just a great barrel.
All right, so we got some more questions here. So Brian says, are the allocated bottle drawings part of the bylaws? Or just the required 6? Well, in fact, they were in the beginning. A couple months ago, we had a board of directors meeting. We talked about this either last live or the live before. We had a board of directors meeting. We had proposed amendments to the bylaw. We could see 3 months ago, 4 months ago, some issues developing with that part of it. And so there was a bylaw proposal made that we will provide allocated bottles for a drawing or for purchase based on availability and up to the board of directors' discretion. And that passed unanimously, so that changed officially in the bylaws. You can go onto Discord to the there's a folder. There's a files folder section on Discord for all our members. The bylaws are posted there. You can view them and read all those. So that was officially changed in the bylaws. So good question there.
Yeah, and for reference, that's called members' documents.
Members' documents.
It's underneath Barrel Picks, Charity Chat, Events and Info, and then members' documents. So you can find it there. You can see the minutes from that meeting where they were passed. And we even did that just because the logistical challenges of pulling that off were tough. We didn't even have the solution of the charity element and raising even more money for charity with that avenue. So
so we're able to still provide. So we're able to still provide that allocated kind of bottle concept of that. It'll be tied into our annual event, and that'll make that good. So same thing for Don there, Don, for you. It was that was changed. You can see the meeting minutes with the vote and when that change was made, and the new bylaws.
Yeah, it should be in a shared folder, accessible. Yeah, I mean it's pinned.
Yeah. So Terry, I would love a bar mat too, but apparently it's not available. But we would love to find that.
Yeah, keep in mind, guys. So can we do Barrels for Hope bar mats? Sure, we can. If you would like to do one yourself, that's something that maybe we could talk about, or if you're really crafty, you could just pull the logo or something like that. We don't hold physical space. We don't have a place to merchandise things. So we're working with the drop shipping options that we have. So you order, it gets made when you order it, and then it goes out to you. And not everything is available for that type of model. So we have to work with within the limitations of what we can get merchandise wise that fits that, because we just can't have a warehouse, in some random place with a bunch of bar mats hoping that we can sell them and cutting into our bottom dollar on the charity front.
Yeah. So a couple other people mentioned in there when we were talking about sharing on social media, 100% please share on social media, share our videos, the website, the pictures of the bottles, all that, get the word out there. The more people that are aware of us, the more we can do for charity. But I want to go back to Eric. So I know, Will, you didn't get the short barrel yet, right?
No, I've received only one of my founder's barrels.
Okay. All right. Eric, did you get the short barrel?
I did get the short barrel. I just got it yesterday and just cracked it last night for the first time for a little pour.
So what do you think based on what you remember from the short barrel?
Man, it's still a great whiskey. It's kind of unbelievable that we were able to get the second barrel along with it. I mean, when does that happen? When do you go to Heaven Hill for an ECBP pick and walk away with 2 barrels? Right.
Yeah.
Is
It's such a it's
March 2023.
yeah. Yeah. It just, this sort of thing just doesn't happen, guys. And, you know, it's because, you know, a place as big as Heaven Hill, they have a lot of people they have to make happy, you know, and there were some very big strings pulled, and we made organizationally, we made such an impression on the people that worked there when we were there, that so much so that Bill Kavanaugh, WJK, in the chats, he's not here with us tonight, but he went back just a few weeks ago, right after Father's Day. So we're talking months and months and months later, happened to run into Sylvia, who runs the barrel pick program there. And he didn't see her or say anything to her. She recognized him from across the way and came over and said hi, remembered our organization, had nothing but glowing things to say about us. You know, that's the type of impact and impression we're making on the distilleries. We
So,
want to
Josh,
keep that going.
and I was there either the very next day or 2 days later and saw her there too. And she said hi, and I talked to her.
Oh, see, man,
Because that was
amazing.
right before Bill met up with us at Woodford when we were on our Whiskey Society trip down there. So
Yeah.
he went to Heaven Hill, then we went to Heaven Hill, and then we met up at Woodford.
And this sort of thing happens, you know, because of the heart. I mean, and first off, this organization is an idea in our minds, and we're volunteering our efforts to make it happen. But it's not a real organization without you guys being members, being a part, and making it possible. So the impact that we're able to have, and we're just starting out, you know, it's why this merch, which all the proceeds from this merch go towards charity as well. It's why we can show up, and it's why I'm wearing this stuff just loud and proud. I have so much organizational pride that only continues to grow with now that barrel picks are getting in you guys' hands. You know, Sylvia's recognizing multiple members that were on the picks, and she sees multiple pick groups every day. She remembers us from months ago. You know, like, it's a really powerful thing to be a part of. And I mean, I feel really lucky to be a part of it, and it's in huge credit to all of you guys, and it's huge credit to Narav for facilitating this, honestly. So yeah, we just owe a huge amount of gratitude to you all for this.
Yeah, Josh, I totally agree. My boys have merch with the logo on it. My daughter-in-law and future daughter-in-law have merch with the logo on it. They all have the elevator pitch on what to tell people what we are. It's just an amazing organization.
That's awesome.
And we're just getting started. We're just getting started, guys. It's amazing.
Yeah, we're not even at a year yet. Like, we kicked off in mid-February. Like,
Yeah,
Did our
Kim,
first merch.
when my daughter was in high school, she just graduated, but she was wearing whiskey stuff to school. I was like, I don't think we should be doing that. Take that off.
Yeah, I've got
All
my
of
daughter.
kids are over 21.
Well, I have my 11-year-old daughter has a Barrels for Hope hoodie, and I'm like, you just can't wear it out of the house, okay? Just keep it in the house. It's your cozy
Lance?
hoodie.
Lance, did you see Big Vic's comment?
I did about him not he's got something to do. He's at Pours in the Park or
Pours
something.
in the Park, yeah.
Okay.
Tough
Oh,
one, too.
so does that mean was Scott Pigsley the next in line?
I think Scott was.
Hey, that would
Yeah,
be amazing if so.
Not that we don't love Big Vic, but
Yeah, I mean, Big Vic would be amazing to have on board.
Yeah.
Scott and Big Vic both have amazing palates. We all wanted to be a part of this, but we only have so many samples to go around. So we did a randomizer to see which one of us was going to be part of it. And then Reggie's a part of it because he sat out on the 4-gate pick. So we wanted him to be a part. And then just having the names that we have from you members on the pick, you know, I can't wait to see what you guys come up with. It's going to be good. These still Austin, the regular stuff is good, but the picks are, I mean, I'm biased, you know, we're a group that loves barrel picks, but these barrel picks, it's where it's at.
So
Yeah.
Whiskey Uncensored says each allocated bottle should have a percentage donation or a fixed amount added to the cost of the purchase. That's how most other bottle charities. Yeah, because most other bottle charities are just donating a portion and then they're keeping part of it. All of it with us goes to charity. So there's nothing that's being held back on those allocated bottles for us or the organization. So we have a certain percentage from the barrel picks that are, because we have operating costs like buying the boxes and the packing material and paying for the labels and shipping, but all of it. So that's great. Some channels are donating portion of the bottles. We're donating all of it. So, and because we're this kind of virtual organization, we have, I mean, our only overhead is really just the shipping costs and some miscellaneous costs for going to the physical locations for the picks. But other than that, our overhead is practically nothing. So,
again, in large part, thanks to Narov and the fact that we don't have to have a warehouse to keep all this stuff at. So.
Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Nancy Fraley has a lot to do with Still Austin, right? Like,
yeah, she does picks there, and I think she blends there as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I mean, if Nancy Fraley's involved with a distillery, I'm in.
So one of the comments we got in chat was if we could go to each one and speak to what we're getting or what we think about it specifically, both the Founder's Pick and the Short Barrel. And we know not everybody has those. We really hoped everybody did, but we know most people do. Is that something? I mean, that's something I would like to do. Putting you all on the spot. Can we do that?
Then you start.
Yeah, sure.
Well, I mean, like Nimrax has already gotten my head with this like iced oatmeal raisin cookie vibes on the Founder's Pick, but I do agree with Eric. When we picked it, it was a little bit more cherry forward, and then as it sat in the barrel and then got bottled, I feel like that cherry is still there, but it's not as forward.
Yeah, I was getting like a jam, like a cherry berry mixed jam.
Yeah, it's sliding more dark into that raisin zone. Right. And then my favorite thing about it, and that's primarily on the nose, it all comes through on the palate. I love any pour that has heavy vanilla on it. And when I smell this thing, like you could tell me there's a bowl of vanilla bean ice cream like on the counter next to like a chocolate oat or the oatmeal raisin cookie thing. And that heavy vanilla note. And then on the palate, all that stuff carries over. But my favorite thing about this, and when I did a blind between the samples that we got at the pick, the two bottled end products that we got, and I threw in, to keep myself honest, because I didn't want to just gush unknowingly over our picks, I threw in a very, very good pick, a pick that I absolutely adore and am clinging to in the mix, just to see if it beat our stuff. You know, I wanted to have a control in there, and the Founder's Pick came out on top for me because it just has this heavy saturation of sweet oak on the back of the palate that just it's one of the things I talk about is like this dense saturation in pours that I really, really, really enjoy. And I get that on the Founder's Pick, and I absolutely love it.
Yeah. So I love the Founder's Pick. I'm not getting as much of that concentrated berry jam flavor as I was getting on the pick. It's still there, but I'm getting more classical, like sugary peanut butter notes that I usually get on an ECBP on it, which I'm not mad at either. But I'm going to descend from a bunch of people and say the Short Barrel is still my favorite. This is straight up powdered sugar donuts with extra, extra powdered sugar on the sweetest and most balanced oak you can get. And I love it.
Joe likes his oak. Joe really likes his oak.
I do.
Yeah, I believe I prefer the Founder's Pick. I like the sweet with the kick and the tonsils.
So the thing
I like my barrel proofs. The Short Barrel to me is great, but it does carry a little more of the oak. I'm not as prone to the oak picks as Joe, but I've let a couple of people try it already, and they've really enjoyed it.
Awesome.
So I've done a couple blinds with people from the Founders and the Short Barrel. I personally like the short barrel better, and I will say I like Josh. I did everyone I've given these to has picked the Founders over the short barrel blind that had no idea what we were doing. But I will say I did, like Josh, I did a blind with I think it was B522, which wasn't necessarily like one of the best batches, but I had my wife bring in the Founders short and that one just to taste it against a batched Elijah Craig barrel proof product, and I told her, I said, please tell me that sample A is not either of our picks. And it wasn't. It was the batch. And the Founders for me won. The short barrel was close. You know, like the short barrel is still fantastic. I mean, we're talking like what, 10, 15% difference. It's not that big of a difference to me. They're both fantastic. But they were clearly better than the batched Elijah Craig barrel proofs for me. And then, like you guys were saying with the oatmeal raisin cookie, I get that, and I get the spice component of an oatmeal raisin cookie where you get that cinnamon and nutmeg kind of thing going on, which I love. But the reason the Founders takes it for me is the mouthfeel. The texture of it is so silky and so creamy that I just absolutely, I love the way this thing feels in my mouth. It's fantastic.
I co-sign that. Yeah.
Don't put that on a shirt, Kim.
I will say, Joe, you mentioned the short barrel sample versus the bottled version. I feel like the short barrel, now that it's bottled, the oak isn't quite as tannic, and there wasn't as much of a fruit element, and now there's more of like a plum date. Like the dark purple fruit on it. Whereas I think the Founders pick is a little more balanced across the board.
Right.
Do you agree with that, having the sample there?
Yeah, a little bit. I've got both of them right here. So I've got the sample here. I've got the bottled here. I think the sample is still coming off better on the nose. It's more sugary on the nose. I think the bottled one is a little more oak on the nose, which isn't bad. It's just more sugary on this one. But the palate, the taste of what we got as the finished product, I think is much better than the sample. Not that the sample was bad, it just got even better.
Yeah, we also did a blind at A1, and we poured the rest of my sample out in several glasses, and what we got, the actual barrel, everybody picked the barrel over the sample. So I agree with that.
Which, by the way, speaking of the A1 packaging crew, hats off to you guys for coming to help out. I know Lance has already thanked you and said that they would still be there. It is a mighty effort. It is incredibly appreciated. Note to everyone, if you're available to come out and help for a packing party, you get to try the picks before anybody else does. So
that's true.
There's something to be said for that.
Yeah.
We did open our bottles and start pouring. So that made the 6 hours go by a little faster.
Yep, you don't have to wait for them.
Which, to that point, speaking of opening bottles and sharing, we had Earl ask, do we have any updates on a possible bottle share date that was proposed for the Middle West pick? So
I'm assuming we're going to have a sort of probably a bottle share each night at the hotel. That's pretty standard for a Barrels for Hope trip. But like I imagine, Kim, you can confirm this with me, but like I would imagine like the main bottle share night is going to be Saturday night after the picks, because we don't want to get too crazy on Friday night before the picks, because I personally have 2 picks that day. So one in the morning.
We want a good pick.
Yes, we do.
So we're going to, at least I'm going to take it a little lighter Friday night, but Saturday night will be, and then we can all sleep in on Sunday before we drive home. Saturday. So that would be Saturday, August 26th. Mm-hmm. If anybody is going to be around the Columbus area, Columbus, Ohio, even if you're not on the pick and you want to stop by and say hi and share a pour and stuff, that would be awesome to see other members to do that. So if you are around the Columbus, Ohio area, Saturday, August 26th, message me or email me at joe@barrelsforhope.com and we can get you all lined up with the location of where we're going to be at and all that kind of stuff. That would be really cool.
Yeah. Eric, how fun was the Elijah Craig barrel proof bottle share? We had a good time, didn't we?
That honestly, that was probably my favorite part of the experience. I mean, like the barrel pick was awesome. It was really cool coming into there. It was my first one. You guys were definitely organized in how you were executing everything. Everybody really had a say in what they were tasting and what they were thinking. So it wasn't just like somebody was taking over and saying, "Oh, I think we should get this." So you guys did a great job there. They made it a fantastic experience, I think, but definitely credit to you guys for being very knowledgeable and experienced in getting that short barrel. I think that played a big part in it. That was like eye-opening to me, like how much you guys knew, and were able to kind of get that done on the fly and make it happen, which is awesome for the group. But yeah, just the camaraderie of the sitting at that table and sharing samples and everything was probably like the best part of the trip.
Yeah, and I think it's happened on every pick where we've just met tons of strangers and really got to know people and made connections. I know Joe made a lot of connections on the Makers pick, and you probably talked about that, Joe.
So people we met on the Makers pick, there's a couple of people we've met on the Makers pick that have another charity whiskey organization in North Carolina. They ended up, I think they might be following Barrels for Hope. They ended up joining our Whiskey Society Facebook group, and I've been communicating with them, and we're going to be trading some pick bottles, some picks that they do, some picks that we do. So connections all across the country that you can make when you're just sitting down and sharing a pour of whiskey with someone.
Joe, I might be selling this short barrel a little short. It is really good.
It is. It's really good. So Johnny 5 says Barrels for Hope picks brought to you by ZBiotics. That's right. Liquid IV, and ZBiotics.
Yeah, you need the 1-2 punch.
Right.
Picking barrels is hard work. Hard work.
Right.
It looked like there was a question earlier about our location and weekend for the event next summer.
Yes.
So just to give an update on that, we are looking at June or July next summer. The date is TBD. We're looking at 3 cities: Nashville, Louisville, and Cincinnati. And so our goal is to confirm this by late September. So we're still working through it, and we will give you updates as we know them.
Awesome. Thanks. All right.
Man, I just had some short barrel and went back to the founder's pick, and I'm getting like this s'moresy type of note, like marshmallows, graham crackers, a little bit of milk chocolate. Man,
and they are both so good. They really are.
Yeah.
They are. And the other thing is we have a darn good looking sticker for our bottles too.
Yeah.
And this
pops.
This was actually a discussion in the beginning of the organization. Are we going to do stickers? Are we going to do naming of the picks? And originally it was no, but I'm glad we went with this.
They look so sharp, man. And we didn't measure them to fit Elijah Craig barrel proof bottles. It just worked out that way. They just look so good. And if you guys could see like the first iteration of logos I submitted to Josh in the group, you would crack up. And I thought they were kick ass at that time. They're so bad now looking back at them.
Yeah, no, we certainly, the wild thing is we're sitting here in July, and Lance, you and I had a conversation about this. December 14th was the date. I don't think I'll ever forget that date.
Yeah.
Is when we talked on the phone the first time. So we're just 7 months outside of ideation, 8 months, and here we are having our first picks come out, and you guys get your hands on them, and just already the impact. I don't know, guys, man. I'm a sappy kind of dude. I get really heartfelt and stuff, and this is just, you can't see it in this little screen, but I've just about got tears in my eyes because I know what's coming. I know at the end of the year we're going to be able to.
There we can see it.
Yeah, I know at the end of the year we're going to be able to cut checks to 4 charities that have such a huge impact, and just the connectivity of whiskey, but then the difference that we're making with it is just so huge. It means a whole heck of a lot, guys, and it's like I said, it's because of you. So I won't apologize for being a softie, man.
Never.
This is really special to be a part of. I work at UPS. I drive a truck for a living. My job doesn't give me much satisfaction. It pays the bills, and we can live. But this is one of the more special things I've ever been involved in my life, and I'm very happy to be a part of it, and I just can't thank you guys enough for making it possible.
Yeah.
So
cheers, Josh. Love you, buddy.
Cheers.
Cheers, you guys.
So Mike says, did y'all say we could buy stickers eventually? So there's magnets on the merch site. Whitney, if you're still watching, is there a sticker option? Because I think people would love to have the stickers as well.
There's not a sticker option right now, but we will add it to the list.
Perfect.
And this is a good note. We do have, so drop shipping is like I said, we've already talked about that. That's something that we really need. We can't inventory. We don't have staff to handle merchandising and shipping and all that stuff. Whitney is saying stickers can be added at the year-end event, and it's a large part's we have some ideas for this event, and we're looking at hosting it at a distillery. So we're looking at these different cities because we want to be able to have an event where we can have a really good time, do some really cool things. That's all I'm going to say right now. Don't want to put too much out there, but we've got some big pie in the sky ideas that we're going to try to pull off. And we've also talked about having some special merch for those things. Not something we can stock all the time, but some special things that we can have on hand for everybody who's going to attend. So that's something to be on the lookout for next June or July.
Yeah.
And if you all have an opinion, right, we're looking at these 3 cities, Nashville, Louisville, Cincinnati. If you have an opinion, please email me and tell me, kim@barrelsforhope.com.
Should we do a poll on that? Now, not saying that whatever city wins the poll will go with, but would that be a good gauge on what people are thinking?
Yeah, we can. I mean, there's a lot that's going to go into it, including, price, cost, etc. But I am certainly
instead of 80, instead of 80 or 90 people emailing you, why don't we put a poll out there? What city people are interested in? Now, again, hear me, people. That doesn't mean whatever city gets the most amount of votes that we're automatically going to pick. There's more to it. We're just trying to gauge where everybody's at.
Right. Like if one is really, really low and the other 2 are really high, that might help us say, okay, we were thinking this was a contender, but maybe, as you guys have a voice as part of this, maybe we do need to consider maybe eliminating that. But, one of the things we've talked about, and I don't think I'm putting too much out there, but one of the things we've talked about is, we want to have the event at a distillery.
Get ready to mute him.
Yeah. Well, no, we're just saying like
no
this may look like us going to the distillery as a group and then also having a good time in the city that we're in, or it could be most of the event crafted around a distillery with some city fun in addition to the event. So that's something that we're going to work out, but we're trying to keep you guys in mind just from a what's the word I'm looking for here, Kim? Just like we want to be mindful of you guys and travel expenses and things like that. So we're really, we're really trying to think this through and make it something that's going to be really cool and really special for everybody.
And frankly, I think personally that the best part about the weekend is going to be coming together as a community and the things that happen together, and the distilleries and the city and the fun things that we're planning are going to be bonus.
100%.
But I think the in-person connection is going to be just priceless.
Right. It's not. This isn't a secret part of it or anything, but when we're all together, either in that banquet room or wherever we're at, and we have our representatives who hopefully can attend from our charities, and we've got those big chats and we're cutting them to them, and maybe we're watching some video about the people that this money is going to be able to directly impact. that's going to be pretty powerful. That's going to be awesome. That's what I'm looking
What it's
for.
all about.
Yep.
Paul asked if we've looked into having it at Hard Truth. We do have a relationship with Hard Truth, obviously. So they're
It's under
certainly
consideration.
they're on our
Yes,
radar.
the
And
answer
then
is yes, we're looking into it.
yeah, and then to Eric's point, and to Kim's point, echoing back to what Eric said about the ECBP picks, yeah, the picks are awesome, but it's really that community element of getting together and being able to hang out and have a good time. So yeah, I 100% agree, Kim. That's going to be the best part. And to that point, again, I want to echo Joe, what he said. I don't want this to be missed. If you can be in the Columbus area, Dublin area on August 26th, even if you're not chosen for the Middle West pick, you can still come out and hang with us after the fact. So absolutely reach out to Joe at barrelsforhope.com. Get the details. Come hang out. It's going to be a good time. We're bringing bottles to share.
It's
gonna be a blast.
definitely one of the best parts of this whole thing is meeting you guys.
Oh,
It's so fantastic. I love it.
And
Yep.
not to do a shameless plug, but if there is anybody out there or your significant other is attending the Bourbon Women's Symposium that same weekend, the weekend of August 25th, please reach out to me because I will be there and I would love to meet you.
Yeah, when you guys are traveling, so we did a channel on posting where everybody's from, see if people want to meet up. But if you're traveling, post too, because when I was in New York, I met one of the members at Jack Rose that happened to be there at the same time as me. It was pretty awesome. So that was cool. And then I think Mike has a question here. Are we going to open it up to guests for the members? Yes. So the annual event, we are planning on having members be able to bring one guest. So we are going to have limit the number. But yeah, that's the plan. So don't worry about that. You don't have to leave your significant other or friends at your bourbon buddy at home.
And Don Prince says in the chat, if Attic Distillery community barrel pick at summer get together would have to be a blend with a number of folks, could do a blending team like M and J did. Yeah. Hey, that's a great idea.
We haven't talked about that at all.
Oh, we
Yeah,
haven't.
that's
see.
enough, Josh.
We'll see. That would be cool. That would be cool.
When I tell you guys that this group of people brainstorms and problem solves, you have no idea how much. Just let me tell you that, because I go to them all the time. I'm like, we have a problem. I don't know how to fix it. And they always come up with an answer.
We did that last night. We talked
We did it
through it.
last night.
Yeah, came up with something good. So that was good.
And what never ceases to amaze me with this group of people, and this is a little bit of behind the scenes for you guys, but like when I talk to like my real life people that aren't a part of this whiskey tube space and whiskey charity space, I tell them I accidentally started a charity because this was like an idea that Lance had it. He brought it to me. I was like, what if we did this and that with it? And he's like, oh, that's a good idea. And I was like, this is over our heads. I need to talk to Joe. And then,
and then he talks to me, and my first reaction was, I don't know about this.
yeah, it's like, we got to work on this and this and that and this
We
and
gotta
that.
talk. We gotta talk through some logistics here.
Right.
Yeah.
And then with the expansion of the board, it's more great people in the room talking about how to make this not only awesome, but make it sustainable, to make it, to have the biggest impact possible for charity. And I bring all this up because what never ceases to amaze me is how we have this one thing that pops up, or this one idea, or this one challenge that we need to figure out a solution for. And it's not like we just solve it. Somehow the group finds a way to solve it and then make it so much better as a result of the solution.
Well, and
that's
Josh said,
really cool.
Expanding the board was a big key. Like the four of us were like toddlers, right? Like running and tripping over ourselves, and we kind of got.
I was the treasurer.
and then we got Reggie as treasurer. We got Kim helping with the events, which was a huge help. And then Bill with the logistical kind of, cup dice. Where's the dice at game going on? We're driving around our Ferrari now, so we're doing good.
I think we should change all of Josh's cards to ex-treasurer, not VP.
I love it.
Anybody? Let's see. The chat's starting to slow down. Anybody got anything else?
I don't know if anyone wanted to share notes on the short barrel, or we do that.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean, I think
it's my favorite. So I don't know.
It is really good. It's very good.
I'd like to say that the biggest thing that everyone should take away from these as you're tasting them is we were in a 40-degree rick house when we did this sampling. So
Yeah.
it's really hot right now. Let it sit, chill it down. We tried our best to warm it up, and I mean, it's warmer now than it was ever before.
That's true. I didn't think about that, Will, until you just said that. We were all in there like cupping the Glencairn
We were.
hands trying to warm up.
I forgot about that.
I know I did.
Oh, I didn't. It was cold. I was unprepared.
Vanilla bomb versus oak vanilla bomb. Yeah.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
And Lance, I don't want to lose Chad's comment about the map. I think that's something we can take away and think about.
Mm.
I can do that. That's easy.
Which, by the way, Will's
Oh yeah.
came through
Will-
with the big brain idea to make our shipping processes so much easier. He's bringing in stuff to the table. Like you guys, like this organization is by no means the board and then the members as a separate piece. Like you guys are coming to us. If you have ideas, bring them to the table because your voice does matter in this. So, with the shipping and stuff, one of the challenges we had, and we're going to I still don't 100% understand what Will told me about this, but he told me if we have this file, we can upload it to the batch shipping thing, and then everybody will get email notifications with their shipping number so you can track your shipments. Like there's no way we could possibly do that with 140 individual shipments, but they're, according to Will, and I believe him 100%, as long as we don't screw it up on our end, there's a solution where we could in under 3 minutes upload this file and have everybody have all their information that they need. So
That would be amazing.
just wait till
it
next
doesn't
shipment.
mean that everything's going to ship on the day that notice goes out, but at least you'll
Right.
know when it ships, where it's going, and when it gets
Yeah.
there.
100%. 100%.
Yeah, and well, hopefully this next one should be a lot easier too because we're gonna have less bottles to ship. We're not shipping 2 barrels. We're only gonna be shipping the hard. Well,
I mean, you did pick the hardest one for the first one.
oh my God, yeah,
Yeah, to set the bar up here.
yeah.
Yeah. But Will, last night at the board meeting, Josh was like singing your praises. He's like, mine was blown. He's like,
My mind was blown.
Lance was like, hold on, you're telling me it's that easy? And I'm like, Will said it was, and I believe Will. So I trust Will.
It's
We're
just a
good.
flat file. It's very easy.
Well, because they're over there like individually, one by one, finger
Oh,
poking the keyboard.
Oh yeah, we entered all those addresses. My wife was sitting at the spreadsheet ready to kill all of us. It was, but it worked. I think it worked out. We'll see. See how many emails I get Friday morning.
I mean, I have
So
one
far,
of
so
the
good.
spots, so I'm hoping.
So
Yeah.
Jim's got something funny in the chat here. Will, unless there's something you didn't tell me, you and Eric secretly brothers? I guess he thinks you look alike.
They do kind of look alike.
Who's Eric?
Number one rule of improv: just go with it.
Sure. I mean, I went to an event a couple of years ago, and they're like, "Hey, yeah, brother." I'm like, "No."
Yeah, we need
we
need somebody with Photoshop skills to put gray hair on Eric and see how much they look alike. Earl, we do not have a shipping date for Hard Truth yet. So,
And this is worth highlighting. Our goal, 6 picks a year. Ideally, we would deliver those kind of every other month. When you're picking barrels, it just doesn't work that way. Like the distributors tell you when they have stuff available, you have to say yes or no. You do the pick, they bottle it when they're ready to bottle it. You get it when they tell you you're going to get it, and then you have to do stuff with it. So, to the best of our abilities, things will be kind of spaced out on about an every other month basis. But you could get something in back-to-back months. We might have a 3-month gap in there somewhere. That sort of thing is just gonna happen, and we're gonna do our absolute level best to kind of have stuff coming to you guys on a pretty regular basis. Now that we talked about the long runway on the early live streams of doing barrel picks, getting them through the distribution process, bottled to the distributor, to the store, and then us packaging and shipping them. It's a long runway. The plane is now off the ground officially right here, and that is cause for celebration, to raise a glass. And the altitude might go up and down a little bit over time, but we're going to keep the plane, it's going to keep flying high as we go. So picks are coming. And when we have packing, I mean, you guys are going to hear, trust me, we're going to be letting you know when we need help for a packing party. So,
yeah.
But yeah, that's a good point, because we did discuss this last night as well, is what we're projecting. And again, just like Josh said, we have no control over when they give us them, when we're able to get the barrels. But it looks like we're anticipating now about an every 4 to 6 week delivery. We're anticipating. That's our goal. So just take that with a grain of salt.
And if you guys remember, Hard Truth's initial shipping date was supposed to be July 15th, but then their bottling machines went down, so they got backed up. So they were estimating end of July, which I don't know how long it's going to take to get to the distributor and then to the store to A1. So, but I imagine it's going to be sooner than later for sure. We're talking probably, I don't know. I don't want to say, but 4 to 6 weeks.
So I know it felt like a long time for that plane to take off, because everyone was so excited initially and ready for things to come. But it's pretty incredible if you think about it, that from a heritage distillery, we picked this in March and it's July and we have 2 bottles of it in front of us, which is it's incredible. Like,
we heard horror stories about people at Heaven Hill waiting 8 months, 9 months.
We did. Narav and I did an A1 pick last fall, and we got that pick like a week or 2 before we got ours. I was sure ours wasn't coming for a long time. They were so backed up. I was really shocked we got it as soon as we did.
I think probably the good thing about this group too, with waiting for some of these picks, is I don't think any of us are running out of good whiskey to drink anytime soon before they get here. So I'm willing to wait for these quality picks that we have coming in.
Yeah.
Well, and
hopefully these show the level of picks that we've shot for, and that honestly you can ask other members that have been on the other picks, whether it was the Hard Truth or the Makers or the Foregate. I think we've kept that pretty high level.
I agree. Yeah. I will say from August to January, we started in February for everybody. If you were on that first wave. So from now until then, we've got 6 months, and we have 5 picks to deliver in those 6 months. So that should give you an idea of some of the spacing that you'll be looking at. And then as a almost 22 year UPS employee, I do want to comment on Paul Smith's question in the chat. He said, I know there's a few of us that are members of the Maumee Valley Whiskey Society. Would it be cheaper and easier if we had bottle shipments go to one place? Now, on the surface, it seems plausible and reasonable to say that. And even like some, if you got multiple bottles of this, like the Short Barrel or 2 Founders picks, you've got 2 individual shipments. The reason that makes a lot of sense is we're shipping smaller boxes, and so much of shipping costs go into the size of the box you ship. So if we're shipping pallets or multiple cases to one place, you're going to be paying freight charges probably, and that's a whole other logistical challenge. We get to buy shipping materials in bulk at a discount by shipping individual bottles, and it also simplifies the logistics of packaging those up and all that stuff. So it's something that we will keep a pulse on it, but we always want to be mindful of the fact that the shipping supplies that we're ordering, we want to purchase them in bulk to keep the cost down, because if we pay more for shipping supplies, that's cutting into our money that we can donate to charity. So we always have our eye on that bottom line, and we will make the best decision possible regarding shipping Like, it might not make sense for you to get, like, I got a short barrel and a founder's barrel and an extra founder's barrel. I got 3 shipments in 3 individual boxes. On the surface, it would seem wasteful, but actually, if you plugged in what all 3 would cost to ship plus a one-off shipping box for that, it would cost us more money to send it to me in 1 package versus 3 packages. And hopefully that makes sense. It's convoluted. I'm saying it like a 20-plus year shipping industry professional. It makes sense to me. Hopefully that translates to you guys. But the moral of the story, the TLDR, is we're always watching that bottom line because we don't want to cut into our charity donations any more than we have to.
Plus, now think about it this way. Now you have extra material for you to pack and hand deliver for a friend helping a friend.
There you go.
What? Don, yeah.
After
the CSV
this
file
one and seeing how everything was going, I did some research and I found out a little bit more about the way the UPS shipping system works. So for the next one, I'll be involved with some techno background, and there is a way that basically we can take that file, the one that got loaded for all of us to verify of what you had coming to you, where it was going, and all that, and plug that in with an email into the UPS system. So when that file goes in, you'll get a notification. When UPS accepts the box, you'll get a notification. And then when it is actually like scheduled for delivery, you'll get a notification.
And I want to piggyback on that, Will. Make sure in Patreon your email address is correct. Please do not use a junk email address, because when we pull the CSV file with everybody's information, addresses and everything, your email is embedded in that. So we don't even have to manually enter your emails in. It's already in there. We download from Patreon. We double check it to make sure, everybody's right. And then we upload it to UPS. Like it's literally like a 2-click thing. So just make sure your email address is right so that you get the notifications for shipping.
The founders picks kicking in. I thought that was a middle finger, not a thumbs up. I apologize, Paul.
Is that what this stuff does? Man, I might need some more of it.
Real small. It looks like a middle finger.
Awesome. Well, we just crossed over an hour and 20 minutes. It looks like, I don't know if you guys can see. I just lost my computer. Oh, there we go.
Oh, we can
got
see
you,
it.
Joe. Yeah, we got you.
Awesome. So yeah, we just crossed an hour and 20 minutes. It is still kind of a school night. Chat's slowed down. So I just want to personally thank again everybody involved, from the board members, Narav, the team that helped ship, all the members who are supporting this and making this happen. We got our first bottle delivered. I'm super excited. I couldn't be happier, and I can't wait for more to come and for the annual event. So
Heck yeah. Big night, guys. Cheers, everybody.
cheers.
Cheers, you guys.
Cheers.
Have a great night. Enjoy these bottles. Share them. Love you guys.
Yeah, let us know what you think. Love you guys. Cheers.
Love you guys. Cheers.